You've seen it, I've seen it, so let's review it. Avengers Infinity War, 2018 American superhero film based on Marvel Comics superhero team The Avengers, produced by Marvel Studios and distributed by the Walt Disney Motion Pictures. My god, Disney own everything these days. It's the sequel to The Avengers, Avengers Age of Ultron. It's the sequel to Iron Man 1, 2, 3, the sequel to Captain America 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 and 1. It's a sequel to Black Panther. It's a sequel to The Incredible Hulk. It's the sequel to Ant-Man. It's the sequel to Doctor Strange. The sequel to Captain Marvel. It's the sequel to everything, to be honest with you, that came before it. And it was written by Anthony and Joe Russo. Directed by Anthony and Joe Russo, written by Christopher Marcus and Stephen McFeely, and features an ensemble cast including, wait for it, Robert Downey Jr., Chris Hemsworth, Chris Evans, Tom Holland, Scarlett Johansson, Benedict Cumberbatch, Don Cheadle, Chadwick Boseman, Paul Bettany, Elizabeth Olsen, Anthony Mackie, Sebastian Stan, Daniel Guerrero, Letitia Wright, Dave Bautista, Zoe Zandler, Chris Pratt, Josh Brolin, and a little cameo by Stan Lee. And what's the film all about? Well, in the film, the Avengers and the Guardians of the Galaxies team up to attempt to prevent Thanos from collecting the 6 all-powerful Infinity Stones as part of his quest to kill half of all life in the universe. And yeah, this movie was released in LA April 23rd, 2018, and the film received many praise, which was mainly towards Josh Brolin's performances and the emotional weight of the story, the visual effects and action sequences, but the film was criticized for relying on previous MCU films for its story. But I mean, what else? Why would people criticize that for that? This whole series was made for this film, like you have to watch all the movies to understand this film, you can't just go in not knowing what these previous films. It's a fan service film, for crying out loud. My gosh, it broke many box office records. It was the first superhero film to gross over 2 billion worldwide, breaking numerous box office records. It became the highest film of 2018, the fourth highest grossing film of all time, and got nominated for some awards. And what is the good of this film? Well, the thing I like about this film is that it looks beautiful. My god, like the cinematography and the visual effects look amazing. I like it when they go to space. I like it when they go to Earth. They finally make Earth look nice, because whenever we see a Thor film and he's in space in Asgard and Asgard looks so beautiful, we come to boring Earth. Earth looks really dull, but they have some nice cinematography and mise-en-scène on Earth, which I really do like, like I love that, I really did like that. The characters are also great, and it's great seeing how all these films, these 20 whatever movies, coming together. And I've seen all of them. I've reviewed all of them. I know all of them. I've seen these characters so many times. I've watched these films so many times, and this film's satisfying because you've seen all these characters for the first time. All these characters, from Doctor Strange to Spider-Man to the Guardians of the Galaxies, all teaming up with our main Avengers. And it's just so great and satisfying seeing all of them, just come together, team up, talk, interact. They are also interesting and so charismatic and quirky and awkward and just interesting to the point where it's so satisfying seeing them all together. This film, out of all the MCU films, feels like the most rewatchable. You can watch this film again and again and not get bored of it, Same with Endgame. I'll give that review later on. And it's just because you've seen all these movies before and they're all leading up, to this one film. And I like how we see like certain characters, like, the character like journeys, particularly like Tony Stark, Captain America and Thor and the Guardians of the Galaxies. I feel like they are like the characters who I feel like this journey is now coming to this point, like Tony, who had the vision in Age of Ultron, who saw space in Assemble, and just getting scarred, and his PTSD, his post-traumatic distress disorder, getting worried, anxious, being worried, him building Ultron, him getting the vision by Wanda about the end of the world, it's all coming down to this film, and it's just so interesting seeing this character, and it's just interesting seeing how he's changed throughout these films, and it's so satisfying, like you've got like other characters like the Guardians of the Galaxy, who I feel like also get a good amount of screen time. I also feel like out of everyone, Gamora gets the most character development. Like she gets a lot of interesting moments, because Thanos, obviously, if you don't know, spoiler alert, is her daughter, obviously, and it has big impacts, on the film, like her connection with Thanos, how this impacts the Guardians of the Galaxy team, which I really liked. Also, I liked how Scene 4 interact with the Guardians, like the Asgardians of the Galaxy. I really did like that. Him and, Chris Pratt's character style was really great, and I really did like it, Other characters who I feel like really got interesting times to shine, Wanda and Vision, I really feel like they really got a good time to shine, and just seeing what's happening to them and just where they've been all this time is really great, Thanos was probably the best character in the whole film. He isn't a bad guy for being bad. His reasoning for destroying the world makes sense, He's sick of seeing all this war, this conflict. He thinks that killing half the galaxy and letting the other half survive is the only way to go. Genocide is his only option, and he just wants to rest. And this guy, he just wants to rest. He just wants to be he just wants to be somewhere alone, doing his thing, and just peace, Kind of reminds me of Toby from the Naruto Shippuden anime series, where Toby was he wants to create this Eye of the Moon plan. He wants to destroy the world because he is sick of all this fighting and bickering and all these wars and innocent people suffering, being in the crossfire. So he wants to create a world where nobody is suffering and everyone is at peace in a way. And it reminded me of that at times, and that's what Thanos is doing for himself in a way. He doesn't really care too much about other people, but he feels like if he kills half the people, then the rest can somehow survive and work their differences and do their thing, Infinity War, obviously this is kind of a spoiler review because you've got to have seen this film and it's already been out, Obviously, the ramifications of Thanos' actions results in it actually happening and Thanos actually winning, a villain actually winning was very surprising, and it was just really damn great, And him sacrificing Gamora to get the Soul Stone was kind of emotional, And you saw it coming, but you didn't want to see it. It was just too sad, It was just, damn, this guy is this desperate to sacrifice his daughter, just to do all that, And we see more of Gamora's past, where she came from, which was really great, And it was just a really well thought out film, to be honest with you. But my mixed reviews really comes down to other characters, They are not negatives, they're more mixed. I don't really have anything negative to say about this film. But if I was to be anything negative, it's the way certain characters were kind of handled. I mean, oh yeah, I didn't really mention Captain America in this film because he's not really in it as much. He's just there, he's got a beard, he has to do the job and he's doing his thing, he's helping out. But he doesn't have much of a role to play. That mainly comes to the next film in a way. He has more of a role in that film. But I would have liked more Cap, where he's been, what he's been doing, but I wasn't too complaining too much, to be honest with you. The way they handled Star-Lord in this film was kind of unforgivable at times. The whole character of Star-Lord was kind of different. He was very insecure at times and very emotional, he's an emotional guy, but man, if he had just stayed put, none of this would have happened. Why did he have to get so emotional about what happened? And it's just, yeah, it kind of annoyed me at times, but that's kind of my only nitpick, to be honest with you, because this film is a freaking masterpiece, the writing, the characters, the way certain things are handled. Right off the outgate, this film is set literally seconds after the events of Ragnarok, and that Ragnarok film was just a big comedy fest. It had a kind of a happy ending with everyone being like, Asgard is not a planet, it's the people, and how everyone's smiling, hoping they're going to go to a new world. And then this film comes and everyone is dead. Well, not everyone, I'm guessing some of the Asgardians survived, but most of the Asgardians are dead. You see Thor being battered, bloodied, Loki's killed, he's dead, and the way Thor reacts to Loki's death was just like he you feel so sad and bad for him because you know that Loki is truly dead and he's not coming back, and it was really, really, really deep and emotional and moving, and just it had all the right notes and the right tunes, just everything worked. And when Thanos snaps his fingers and everyone turns to dust, and you just see Tony's face and just like how he was right all along, and he knew this was going to happen because of the vision, and it was just seeing Spider-Man go away. I don't know, I got really choked up because he didn't want to go, he didn't want to die, and Thanos is killing people that don't want to be killed, people who don't have any evil bad bones in his body, and it's really sad, and just really great stuff, very great stuff. Like the soundtrack was great, everything about it was great, and just a really great film, really amazing. And I would say Thor building his hammer, I hated it. I didn't like it when I first watched it, but rewatching this film and then Endgame, you see the reason as to why. Like, not the reasoning, but it kind of foreshadows what's gonna happen, in Endgame, and it's like, oh, that makes sense. Okay, yeah, I get that, and I'll let you, watch. I'll do my Endgame review later on. But apart from that, Infinity War was a beautiful, beautiful film with great character developments, sad twists and turns, and it's a 10 out of 10 and an A star for me. It was great all throughout. Thanks for watching this review. Like and share this video, comment down below, tell me what's your favorite MCU film. With that said, thank you for watching. As always, Boyd Review signing out.